Today's video is sponsored by Unlucky Stars. Commemorate a special time in your life or the life of a loved one with a personalized star map. More on them in a bit. Recognizable all around the world, not just for their distinctive red, white, and blue colors, but also for their death-defying stunts, pinpoint precision, and military professionalism, they've survived war, financial crisis, and even several fatalities, while still managing to rise to one of the top spots in their field. We're of course talking about the United States Air Force Aerial Demonstration Squad, more commonly known as the Thunderbirds. Officially activated on the 1st of June 1953, the Thunderbirds started life as the 3,600th demonstration team at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona. The original team was comprised of 4 pilots. Training commander Major Dick Cartledge was chosen as the commander, with twin brother captains Bill and Buck Patillo selected to fly the left and right wing positions. They were joined by Captain Bob Kamaga, who took the final and arguably most challenging slot position, flying directly behind the leader and exactly in between the left and right wing positions. The slot pilot in this position has almost no margin for error. Originally flying the F-84 Thunderjet, an aircraft that had already proven its value during the ongoing Korean War, the main reason behind the inception of the squadron was to both familiarize the public with relatively new jet technology and to demonstrate the far superior speed and maneuverability that this technology provided. However, as their popularity grew, they also became an incredibly powerful recruiting tool for the US Air Force. The team performed their first 6 demonstrations under the name Stardusters before switching to the now iconic Thunderbirds name. This was done, at least in part, to honor local Native American culture. According to Native American legend, the Thunderbird is a supernatural being representing power and strength with the ability to cast lightning from its eyes. In 1956, for logistical reasons such as aircraft maintenance, the Thunderbirds moved to their current home in Clark County, Nevada, at the same time switching to the world's first supersonic fighter plane, the F-100 Super Sabre. They would continue with this aircraft for a further 13 years, racking up more than 1,000 displays around the world. At the start of the 1964 season, the team switched to the F-104 Thunder Chief, but returned to the F-100 after only 6 shows following a devastating structural failure that caused the death of Captain Gene Devlin at Hamilton Air Force Base. Between the years of 1969 and 1973, the team were equipped with the frontline F-4E Phantom, but switched to the T-38 Talon in 1974 as it was considerably more fuel efficient and cheaper to maintain. Fuel economy was of paramount importance during 1973 due to the oil crisis, and because of this, the team only managed 6 displays during 1973. However, as 5 of the new Talons could be flown on the same amount of fuel as one Phantom, the 1974 season saw the Thunderbirds back in action with the notable addition of Vietnam veteran fighter Lloyd W. Fig Newton, the first African-American pilot to fly with the squadron. Alright, we'll get back to today's video in just a moment, but first we got a quick word from a brand new sponsor today, Unlucky Stars. Unlucky Stars makes beautiful, personalized star maps that show the unique alignment of the stars in a place and time chosen by you. This is the original mapmaker for the stars with a proprietary method of mapping the stars in the universe, verified by astrophysicists from NASA. So you know it's the real deal. How does it work? Well, all you have to do is enter the location, the date, and the time of a special moment in your life that you'd like to commemorate, and Unlucky Stars can show you exactly how the sky looked at that time with a beautiful map print on museum-quality, thick, matte art paper. There are more than 15 designs and 6 border options to choose from, which means that you can create a totally personalized memento. I actually got one of these. Let me just bring this in. Is that going to fit in the frame? It's absolutely enormous. It's a really big piece of art. You can see it's super high quality printed. I got this mostly for my wife as a gift. Valentine's Day is around the corner, and this is when me and my wife got married, and the location and the stars above us, which I think's pretty cool. Now look, if you're a quick thinker, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. As I just said, this is a home run gift idea, especially if you're a bit of a last minute lad. You're still working out what to get your partner. What? That would not be me, ever. All the time. This is fantastic. Right now, you guys can take advantage of an exclusive 10% discount to make this Valentine's Day extra special. Head to underluckystars.com/sideprojects and use the code SIDEPROJECTS to get your loved one a gift that they'll never forget. And now, back to today's video. Despite the incredible skill of these pilots, the history of the Thunderbirds is not without tragedy. On the 10th of October 1958, the squadron suffered their greatest loss of life to date. The team's C-123D personnel carrier was transporting 17 members of the squadron's ground support staff from Hill Air Force Base in Utah, heading for McCord Air Force Base in Washington. At approximately 6:30 p.m., this plane was spotted by a local ranch owner, Elder Gazelle, who later reported that the aircraft appeared to be flying through a flock of geese. He went on to say, "I heard the plane's engines stutter, and it seemed to stall. For a moment, it sounded like the engines roared wide open, and then the plane seemed to pull up. Then it knifed downward, and I heard the explosion." But Idaho Aeronautics Director Chet Moulton said that he did not think geese could have caused the crash. Indeed, the resulting investigation appeared to agree with him, saying that the plane was overloaded and the pilot may have been incapacitated, crew rest restrictions violated, or the pilot's seats were not occupied by qualified pilots. Regardless of this, there are still many people who believe the bird strike explanation to be the most plausible. The crash took the lives of all 17 Thunderbird support staff, along with 2 civilian pilots. 14 days later, at Dallas Airport on the 4th of June 1972, Major Joe Howard was killed when he was ejected from his falling craft and inadvertently parachuted into the burning wreckage. On the 9th of May 1981, Captain David Nick Hawk was killed in a crash at Hill Air Force Base in Utah. The engine of his jet caught fire and the ground safety team instructed him to eject. However, instead of following this advice, he elected to pilot the plane away from the watching crowd. He was killed in the resulting fireball after his jet collided with a tree in a nearby barn. In 1982, the world was once again reminded just how dangerous the job of fighter plane display pilot can be when during pre-season training 4 pilots were instantly killed while practicing a loop as part of their new routine. All activity was suspended for 6 months while an investigation was carried out, and the cause of the crash was eventually determined by the USAF to be the result of a mechanical problem with the No. 1 aircraft's control stick actuator. This resulted in insufficient back pressure by the formation leader on the T-38 control stick during the loop, visually cueing off the lead aircraft during formation maneuvering. The wing and slot pilots disregarded their positions relative to the ground. 1983 saw the Thunderbirds return to the skies in the new F-16A, one of the most recognizable fighter planes in the world. In 1986, they performed a flyby for the rededication service of the Statue of Liberty, and later that same year, they surpassed 200 million spectators in total attendance, with the largest crowd being 2.25 million on the 4th of July celebrations at Coney Island. The 1987 Far East tour included another first for the team when their display in Beijing, China, made them the first to perform an American military demonstration in a communist country. Due to Operation Desert Storm, the 1990 European tour was cancelled, but the Thunderbirds would return in 1992, now flying the updated F-16C. They would continue to grow in popularity until 1996, when they were viewed by an estimated 3.5 billion people during the television broadcast of the Centennial Olympic celebrations in Atlanta. They would go on to make television history in 2003, the same year they celebrated their 50th anniversary, when the commander started the Coca-Cola 600 when he broadcast live from Thunderbird 1 the now well-known message, "Gentlemen, start your engines." In 2005, Major Nicole Malachowski became the first female pilot to hold a position in the team's history, and the second female pilot, Captain Samantha Weeks, joined in 2007. She went on to fly with the Thunderbirds during their goodwill tour of Europe, where the team would perform in front of packed crowds in Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Italy, France, and the UK, before making their first ever stop in Ireland, where over 100,000 people braved torrential rain to witness firsthand the incredible acrobatic maneuvers performed by these legendary pilots. This tour also saw the Thunderbirds take a break from acrobatics to meet with disadvantaged children throughout Europe. The team would continue to expand their global coverage when the 2009 season brought them back to the Pacific Rim, where they performed displays in locations such as Malaysia, Guam, Australia, Korea, and Japan before heading home to the US to perform more than 70 shows in 22 states. In 2008, the Thunderbirds joined forces with the Canadian Air Force Snowbirds, the British Air Force Red Arrows, and the United States Navy Blue Angels during the celebration of Quebec City's 400th anniversary. The 2009 Far East tour saw the Thunderbirds land once again in South Korea, where more than 1.1 million people came to watch them in person, and more than 120 million people followed their exploits through the national media. It's believed that one primetime television show was watched by just over 6 million people. That equates to slightly more than 11% of the country's entire population. Whilst in South Korea, the team further continued their community outreach program, meeting with over 500 orphans and children with special needs. Unfortunately, as a direct result of the United States fiscal cliff, the Thunderbirds were grounded for the entire 2013 season. During this time, team members worked with U.S. Air Force recruitment drives in Nevada before returning to the skies in 2014. Since then, they have continued to work tirelessly to maintain the outstanding levels of determination, skill, and professionalism that the world has come to expect from them over the last 69 years.